The mysterious dormitory. In the outskirts of a small city, there was a renowned boarding school known for its serene and picturesque campus. However, behind its beautiful facade lay chilling rumors about an old dormitory at the far end of the school grounds. This dormitory had once housed hundreds of students over generations, but a mysterious incident 20 years ago led to its closure and abandonment. The story goes that on a stormy night, a female student disappeared from the dormitory. After days of searching, her body was found at the bottom of a dry well behind the building. Since then, strange phenomena began occurring. Many students reported hearing footsteps echoing in the dead of night, the sound of sobbing coming from empty rooms, and even glimpses of a girl in a white school uniform standing by the window, staring outside. Despite the school's efforts to suppress the rumors, the stories persisted for years. To put an end to the speculation, the administration decided to seal off the old dormitory, leaving it to decay over time. The daring exploration. Tuan, Lan, and Hui were three first-year students known for their curiosity and love of adventure. After hearing the tales from their seniors, they decided to plan a midnight exploration of the abandoned dormitory, ignoring all the warnings. At most, it's just a few rats and the sound of the wind, Tuan reassured his friends. That night, the faint moonlight cast an eerie glow over the campus, creating a hauntingly beautiful scene. The trio sneaked past the barricades and entered the old dormitory. The wooden door creaked loudly as they pushed it open. The air inside was unnaturally cold, as if time had frozen in this place years ago. Lan shone her flashlight on the walls, which were lined with old class photos. In the dim light, one particular photo caught their attention. It was a group picture, but strangely, the face of one girl in the photo was blurred, unlike the others. "That's odd. Maybe the picture's just damaged," Hui murmured, though his voice was trembling. They ventured deeper into the building. The hallway stretched endlessly, covered in cobwebs and shards of broken glass. Their footsteps echoed loudly, but it seemed there was another sound accompanying them. The faint, deliberate steps of someone following. "Someone's behind us!" Lan whispered, clutching Tuan's arm tightly. Just then, a door creaked open by itself. Inside was a pitch-dark room. Furniture was scattered everywhere, but in the middle of the room stood a large mirror, covered in a thick layer of dust. Tuan stepped forward and wiped the dust off the glass. As the mirror cleared, he stumbled backward in shock. In the reflection, there were not just the three of them, but a fourth figure, a white silhouette standing right behind Lan. "Run!" Tuan shouted. The three of them bolted out of the room, but the hallway now seemed endless. The footsteps behind them grew louder, accompanied by a chilling whisper. "You shouldn't be here." Lan tripped and fell, looking up in terror as a shadowy figure emerged at the end of the hallway. Her long hair covered her face as she slowly approached, her cold voice resonating. "You have disturbed my peace." Tuan and Hui quickly pulled Lan to her feet, and they all ran as fast as they could. When they finally burst through the wooden door, everything fell silent. Looking back, the dormitory stood still, as if all sound and light had been swallowed by the dark void. The ending. The next morning, they recounted their ordeal to their friends, but no one believed them. When they returned to the old dormitory to investigate, they found the door securely locked, with no way in. However, on the rusted signboard in front of the building, there was now a new line of red paint. "Do not come back." The moral of the story. This story serves as a reminder to respect places that have been abandoned and to tread carefully around the unknown. It warns us not to disturb the peace of those who have passed on. Mysteries exist for a reason, and sometimes curiosity can lead to consequences beyond our imagination. Thank you for watching the whole video. Some content in the video is not really added to increase the appeal. If you find it interesting, please come back and comment below so that I and everyone can know. Goodbye, and see you again. The Late Night Ride. Bin-An Village, a remote countryside, was usually lively during the day. But when night fell, silence blanketed the area, occasionally interrupted by the chirping of insects or the howling wind passing through bamboo groves. That evening, Min, a young man returning from the city, tried to catch the last bus to make it home in time for his grandmother's memorial service the next morning. The bus station was desolate, illuminated only by dim streetlights and a few scattered figures waiting. Min sat on a bench, silently checking his watch, which showed it was nearly 11 p.m. When an old, rickety bus pulled into the station, Min felt a strange uneasiness. The conductor gave Min an odd look, but said little, merely urging him to get on quickly. Inside, there were only a handful of passengers, all eerily quiet, staring blankly out the windows. Min chose a seat near the back, feeling a chill as he noticed the passengers' pale faces, almost lifeless. The bus rolled through deserted roads, with gusts of cold wind seeping in. Min tried to reassure himself it was just his imagination, but the longer the journey went on, the more he realized the route didn't match the way to Binan village. He walked to the driver and asked, "Excuse me, is this bus going to Binan village?" The driver, with a gaunt face, replied in a low, monotone voice, "Don't worry, just stay on until the end of the road." The response did little to calm Min. He glanced back at the other passengers, but none reacted or even acknowledged his presence. What unsettled Min most was the faint smell of incense that began to fill the enclosed space. He noticed an elderly woman sitting a few rows away. Her eyes seemed to hold some understanding. Mustering his courage, Min approached her and whispered, "Ma'am, is there something strange about this bus?" The woman softly replied, "Young man, you've boarded the wrong bus. This isn't for the living." Min froze, her words piercing his mind like a sharp blade. He turned to look more closely at the passengers' faces. Each one was blurry, with empty eyes like wandering spirits. Panic-stricken, Min rushed to the door, but it was locked tight. The woman whispered again, "If you want to live, jump off at the next intersection. Don't hesitate." When the bus reached the intersection, Min flung open a window and leaped out, disregarding the risk. The screeching of the bus's tires sounded like wailing screams. Min hit the ground, tumbling and briefly losing consciousness. When he woke up, he found himself lying on a familiar countryside road. Beside him stood an old man walking late at night, who was shaking him awake with concern. Min recounted his ordeal, and the old man sighed. "The bus you were on carries spirits who couldn't make it home. It's a good thing you escaped, or else." From that day on, Min never dared take a bus at night again, and his story became a haunting cautionary tale in the village. Explanation of the story. This story is a work of fiction, crafted to evoke suspense and engage the audience. The late-night ride does not reflect reality, but uses supernatural elements to convey a life lesson. The message is that we should always be cautious and mindful of safety, especially when traveling at night. Stories like this are often passed down as a way to remind people to stay alert and not take any situation lightly. So, don't be overly fearful or anxious. Instead, view this as an entertaining tale to ponder. Remember, in life, everything is determined by our own awareness and prudence.